The rain pounded against the arched windows of Hawthorne Manor, turning the world outside into a blurred watercolor of gray and green. I lay crumpled at the foot of the grand staircase, my white rehearsal gown soaked and stained with streaks of blood from my scraped knee, the sharp twist in my ankle sending waves of fire up my leg. My breath came in shallow gasps, not just from the pain, but from the betrayal that hit harder than the fall. Up above, my brother, Dylan, stood with his arms crossed, a faint curl of amusement on his lips. My parents, my own flesh and blood, didn't rush down. Instead, my mother's laughter echoed off the marble walls like brittle glass shattering. "Oh, Emily. Always so clumsy. Don't blow this out of proportion." Her words sliced through me, colder than the storm outside. My father chuckled awkwardly, avoiding my eyes. "Shake it off, kiddo. We've got a wedding to rehearse." And Dylan? He just shrugged, his voice laced with mock concern. "Watch your step next time, sis." In that moment, as Tyler, my fiancé, knelt beside me, his face pale with worry, something inside me snapped. Not audibly. Not yet, but the fracture lines had been forming for years, hidden in the shadows of their indifference. This wasn't an accident. It was the culmination of a lifetime of being pushed aside, literally and figuratively. And now, the silence I'd maintained for so long was about to erupt into something they could never ignore. Growing up in the Thompson household in suburban Boston felt like living in a perpetual eclipse. Dylan, my younger brother by 2 years, was the sun around which everything orbited. Charismatic, sharp-witted, and always one step ahead. He was the one my parents pinned their dreams on. At 30, he'd climbed the ranks in hedge fund management in Manhattan, flashing his 6-figure bonuses like badges of honor. Me, Emily Thompson, 32, a middle school English teacher in Brooklyn, scraping by in a cozy but cramped walk-up apartment. "When are you going to aim higher?" My dad would prod during our obligatory Sunday brunches in the city, his fork waving like a conductor's baton. Dylan's already eyeing partner track, and he's got that killer instinct we always hoped for. Mom would nod, her perfectly manicured nails tapping the tablecloth. "Teaching sweet, honey, but it's not exactly Wall Street material. We didn't raise you to settle." These jabs weren't new. They were the background hum of my existence, a constant erosion that left me questioning my worth. But the real damage ran deeper, like roots twisting underground, unseen until they cracked the foundation. It started small, back in 2017, with a late-night call from Dylan. His voice cracked just enough to pull at my heartstrings, the vulnerable little brother act he'd perfected since childhood. "I need a hand," he said, sounding almost sheepish. "This condo in the financial district, prime real estate. But I'm short on the deposit. 20 grand. Just a bridge till my commission hits in a couple months. I'll pay you back. Plus extra." I hesitated, staring at my bank app, the numbers mocking me. That money was my safety net, scraped together from extra tutoring gigs and skipped vacations. But family sticks together, right? Blood over everything. I wired it, telling myself it was temporary, a one-off. Months turned into a year, and the excuses piled up like unpaid bills. Market's volatile. Sis had some car trouble. Eventually, he stopped pretending. When I brought it up at a family dinner, he rolled his eyes. "Why harp on it? It's family. You act like I owe you my life." Mom jumped in, smoothing things over as always. "Don't be petty, Emily. He's building something big. You should be proud." The holidays amplified the poison. Thanksgiving 2019 at my parents' colonial-style home in Newton. The air thick with the scent of roasted turkey and unspoken resentments. Dylan showed up with his latest fling. A high-powered PR consultant named Sophia, who eyed my simple sweater like it was a relic from another era. Over pumpkin pie. Mom turned to her, explaining me away. Emily's our steady one, reliable, but not much for risks. That's why she's still. She trailed off, waving her hand dismissively, as if my life was a footnote. Dylan, on the other hand, he's going places. Dad piled on. You could learn from him. Stop playing it safe, it's holding you back. I forced a smile, swallowing the lump in my throat, while Dylan smirked across the table. That night, alone in my old room, surrounded by faded posters and dusty bookshelves that held my forgotten achievements next to his gleaming trophies, the ache settled deeper. Why did their love feel like a competition I could never win? Then came 2020. Another desperate plea from Dylan. $10K this time. Just to tide me over on a surefire stock play. My gut screamed no, especially with the first loan still hanging like a ghost. But guilt twisted the knife. What if he really needed it? What kind of sister would I be? I sent it, dipping into the last of my aunt's inheritance, the one relative who'd seen my potential and left me something to build on. Poof. Gone. When I pressed for repayment, he laughed it off. You're fixating on pennies. Sis. Remember that time I covered your bar tab? Call it even. The bar tab was a $15 beer from a dive in Queens where he'd spent the night complaining about his ex. The cycle spun on, Dylan demanding, parents enabling, me yielding until I felt like a hollow shell. Boundaries? They were met with gaslighting. We're teasing. Lighten up. You're too emotional. Don't stir the pot. Meeting Ryan Caldwell changed the trajectory. Slow but sure. He was a civil engineer volunteering at a school literacy event, his warm smile cutting through the room like sunlight after rain. We clicked over shared stories of underdog dreams. And for the first time, someone saw me, not as the lesser Thompson, but as Emily. Full stop. 8 months in, he proposed on a crisp fall walk in Central Park, the leaves crunching underfoot like promises. Yes, I whispered, tears freezing on my cheeks. But wedding planning unearthed fresh wounds. Mom micromanaged the guest list, prioritizing Dylan's business contacts over my book club friends. Dylan offered to DJ, then flaked a month out, citing work emergencies, forcing me to beg favors from acquaintances. Dad nitpicked every expense, even though Ryan and I footed the bill. Extravagant for a teacher's salary, he'd mutter. Still, I pushed forward. This was my moment to shine. Untethered from their shadows. The rehearsal hit on October 3rd, 2024. At Hawthorne Manor on Long Island's North Shore. A nor'easter blew in, whipping rain against the estate's Gothic facade. But inside, the ballroom glowed with promise until it shattered. Midway through the walkthrough, I stood at the staircase's summit, arm linked with Dad's, ready to descend toward Ryan waiting below. Dylan lingered behind, escorting Mom. Then, a shove, deliberate, forceful, sent me plummeting. Marble steps blurred in a whirl of agony, my body slamming down in a heap. Pain exploded in my ankle, my knee raw and bleeding. Dazed, I looked up. Ryan bolted to me, horror in his eyes. My best friend, Lena, whipped out her phone. That was no slip, I'm calling 911. But my family? Laughter. Mom's voice pierced the air. Don't overreact. Emily. It's a tumble, get up. Dad shifted uncomfortably. You've always been accident-prone. Dylan's satisfaction flickered before he masked it, clumsy as ever. Huh. Ryan helped me stand. But weight on my foot was impossible. Chaos ensued, Ryan demanding the ER. Mom whining about delays. Lena gathering my purse. In the car, Ryan seethed. I saw him push you. That smirk. I know, I murmured. The truth crystallizing like ice. And they found it hilarious. The ER's fluorescent buzz amplified my isolation. While Ryan parked, I sat in a vinyl chair. Gown torn. Bruises blooming. Fury overtook tears. I dialed Mom. He pushed me. On purpose. Her dismissal was swift. You're exaggerating again. Don't tear the family apart over nothing. I felt his hands. Why would Dylan do that? You're attention-seeking. As usual. Click. That call sealed it. No more silence. What they didn't know, what I'd buried deep, was my secret life. For years back, I'd started Harmony Haven Designs as a side hustle, custom eco-furniture from reclaimed wood. Born from late-night woodworking to soothe family-induced stress. A Brooklyn artisan fair led to boutique deals. Then online virality. Patents on modular. Sustainable shelving units sealed partnerships with major retailers. Royalties poured in, dwarfing my teaching pay. I'd funneled profits into silent stakes in 3 trendy eateries, Urban Vine Bistro, Harbor Lights Grill, and Spice Route Kitchen, all booming. Net worth? Around $2.2 million. Hidden not from shame, but survival. If they knew, Dylan would leech. Parents would claim glory while belittling me still. My principal, MS. Hernandez, knew and cheered it on. Teach what you love. Build what you dream. Sprain confirmed, no fracture. Crutches. Meds. Rest. Wedding delayed. Ryan nodded. Take the time. Handle this your way. Physically mending. I plodded. Evidence amassed. Dylan's harassing emails. Transfer receipts. Voicemails of parental denial. I hired Lawson and Associates. Family law pros. Attorney Marcus Lawson outlined assault suit against Dylan. Exploitation against all. Solid case. But it'll burn bridges. Bridges already ash, I said. Hit at peak impact. Dylan's promotion party. December 5th. At the Empire Grand in Manhattan, full house of execs. Relatives. His girlfriend's elite circle. Marcus grinned. Devastating. Allies emerged. Lena. Rehearsal witness. I've got your back. Texts from that night prove it. Over lattes. I spilled my empire. She hugged me. They underestimated you big time. MS. Hernandez offered testimony on Dylan's school stalking calls. Ryan anchored me. Their toxicity ends now. Prep intensified. Asset shields. Account locks. Discreet videographer gifted for the party. Therapy with DR. Elena Ruiz unpacked the trauma. This isn't vengeance, it's boundary enforcement. You've earned your voice. The invite came. Laced with mom's guilt. Be there. Emily, family image matters. I'll dress to impress, I quipped. Party night, Empire Grand aglow with chandeliers and jazz. I arrived fashionably late. Ryan at my side. In a sapphire gown from Atelier Noir, my 25% stake. Head swiveled, my limp subtle, but defiant. Mom stiffened. You look different. Special occasion, I smiled. Dad grunted hello. Dylan toasted from afar with his fiancée, Olivia. A venture capitalist whose pedigree Mom adored. At toast time. 10 p.m. Lena cued the videographer. After gushing speeches on Dylan's genius, the MC announced, a surprise from Sister Emily. Dylan's joy tightened. I ascended the podium. Heart thundering. Family's everything, the ties that bind. The support through storms. Murmurs agreed, Mom's smile faltered. As Dylan's big sis, I've backed him in unseen ways. But truths hide in shadows. Screen dropped, Dylan Thompson exposed. Montage rolled, texts begging cash. Proofs of theft. Threats, pay or regret it. Parental dismissals, you're delusional. Climax, rehearsal footage clear shove. Their laughter. Lights up, silence like a tomb. Mom blanched, Emily. Stop this madness. Dylan charged, fake. She's dramatic, always has been. I held firm, not done. To the crowd, while they mocked my small life. I built Harmony Haven Designs' national brand. Stakes in top spots. Worth $2.2 million. Gasps. Olivia's dad whispered doubts. Dad pleaded, private matter. Uncle Ted rose, I've seen Dylan's cruelty, about time. Lena flanked me, witnessed the push. Bedlam erupted. Olivia grilled Dylan, Dad schmoozed futilely. Mom crumpled. One more, $600,000 suit filed fraud. Abuse. Served today. Dylan lunged, Ryan blocked, back off. The shift was seismic, their empire of lies crumbled. We exited amid frenzy. Phones lit up, Thompson takedown trended. Olivia dumped him days later, unforgivable. Dylan's firm suspended him, followers fled. Parents' facade cracked, divorce filed amid scandal. Suit settled, payout. Apologies. Dylan's, I exploited my sister's kindness, seeking therapy. Parents, we favored wrong, caused harm, sorry. Hollow. But public. Ryan and I wed quietly at Harbor Lights Grill. Circle tight. Harmony Haven boomed with kidlit furniture. Strength bloomed, not just confrontation, but redefining family and true bonds. Honeymoon in Maui. Waves whispering, Ryan asked. Regrets? Only that it took so long. But no voice found. Dad texted therapy invites. Maybe, I said. Horizon shifting. No more crumbs, only feasts earned. The silent girl roared, and the echo reshaped everything.